Have you ever wondered why are there people who make a lot of money yet always feel like it's never enough while others with an average income live far more freely and abundantly? I used to be part of the first group. I worked endlessly, earned more every year. But somehow I was still worried about money. I spent on nice clothes, good cars, fancy meals, thinking those were well-deserved rewards for my hard work. But one day I realized I wasn't rewarding myself. I was punishing myself through spending. I realized that consumers always ask, "What can I buy with this money?" But investors always ask, "What can I build with this money?" And that one question completely changed my life. Because money itself doesn't make you rich how you think about money does. Consumers buy comfort today, but pay for it with freedom tomorrow. Investors, on the other hand, sacrifice a bit of comfort today to buy back their future. In this video, I'll share 12 mindset principles of the truly wealthy, those who not only make money but make money work for them. If you're ready to step out of the spending spiral and begin your journey toward financial freedom, stay until the end because principle number 5 might completely change the way you see money and life. Principle number 1. Shift from spending money to allocating money. I used to believe that making more was the path to freedom. But then I realized earning more doesn't make you rich. Allocating wisely makes you free. The day I received my first paycheck, I felt like I was conquering the world. I bought things I liked, ate at fancy places, and told myself, I deserve this. But at the end of the month, I looked at my account and asked, where did all the money go? The answer was, it didn't go anywhere. It simply left me. I had spent like a consumer, not like a leader. And then I realized the rich don't spend, they allocate. Every dollar they have has a clear purpose to work, to generate profit or to buy back time. No dollar is ever on vacation. I want you to imagine this. Every dollar you have is an employee. If you spend them on meaningless things, you're firing a loyal worker. But if you send them into investments, education, or savings, you're sending them out to recruit new teammates. The rich don't let their money die in their pockets. They let it grow in systems. Start with something simple. For the next 30 days, write down every single expense. Every coffee, every online purchase, every subscription you forgot to cancel. After 30 days, you'll see the true picture of your finances. And it might shock you. Not because you spent too much, but because you spent without knowing why. Once you have awareness, set one golden rule. Invest for spend later. Don't wait until the end of the month to invest whatever is left over. Because that leftover will never come. Treat investing as a mandatory bill just like electricity, water, or rent. Because when you pay your future will pay you back with freedom. Poor people pay others. First, bank stores, brands. Rich people pay themselves first into investment funds, savings accounts, or education. They understand this truth. If you don't pay yourself first, you'll spend your whole life paying others. Before every purchase, ask yourself, does this expense help me spend the future or create the future? If the answer is spend the future, stop. If the answer is create the future, go for it. A new shirt might make you happy for a day. But the right course, book, or stock can change your entire life. And I want you to remember this. Every dollar you spend today is a brick in the foundation of your future. The question is, are you building a castle or just putting up a fence that keeps you trapped? Ask yourself, if I don't change the way I use money today, where will I be in 5 years? Start small, but start now. Because financial freedom doesn't come from one big investment. It comes from a small habit repeated every day. Principle number 2, see money as seeds, not rewards. I used to think after working hard, I deserved to reward myself. And that reward was often a fancy dinner, a new item, or a trip somewhere far away. But then I realized those rewards only gave me temporary satisfaction, not real progress. One morning while walking through a friend's garden, I saw him planting seeds. I asked, "What are you growing?" He smiled and said, "I'm growing freedom." I was surprised. Freedom? How can someone grow that? He replied, "I grow it every time I choose to plant the seed instead of eating it." And in that moment, I understood one of the greatest lessons of my life. Poor people eat their seeds. Rich people plant them. When you see money as a reward, you spend it for enjoyment. But when you see money as seeds, you invest it for growth. Consumers ask, how can I enjoy this money? Investors ask, how can I multiply this money tenfold? I've met many people who earned a lot, but never kept any. Not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't understand the law of the seed. You can't consume everything this season and still expect a harvest next season. And you can't reap in life if you've never planted in your mind. Look at every dollar you have as a seed of opportunity. You can eat it today or plant it and harvest much more tomorrow. A course is a seed of knowledge. A savings account is a seed of security. A small investment is a seed of freedom. Each seed planted in the right soil will grow into a prosperous garden. But be careful. Don't plant in bad soil. I've seen many people invest in trends, in flashiness and emotions. That's not planting. That's throwing seeds into the wind. The wise always choose fertile ground knowledge skills. True value. They know that one seed in good soil multiplies a hundredfold while a seed in the wind just disappear. I want you to try something. Each time you're about to spend money, ask yourself, am I eating this seed or planting it? If the answer is eating, think twice. If the answer is planting, be patient because results come later than emotions, but they last much longer. I know that in today's world, everyone wants instant results. But true wealth never comes quickly. It comes like spring after a long winter of discipline, planting, and waiting. Remember, you can't harvest tomorrow if you don't plant today. If you want financial freedom, turn every dollar into a living seed. Plant them in knowledge, in skills, in opportunities, not in temporary possessions. Because a new phone may last 2 years, but a new skill can feed you for a lifetime. Ask yourself, am I eating all my seeds? If the answer is yes, then today is the day to start replanting your garden. Plant a little, but do it consistently because every small seed today will become the shade that protects your life tomorrow. Principle number 3, shift from consumer to creator. When I was younger, I used to spend hours admiring successful people. I watched them on TV, read about them in magazines, and wondered how can they create so much value while I can't. Then one day, it hit me. I was living as a spectator while they were living as creators. I consumed everything, news, products, entertainment, but I created nothing. And that's when I realized consumers grow poorer. Creators grow richer. This world doesn't pay people who watch. It pays people who create. Consumers pay to use products. Creators get paid for making them. Every time you buy an app, watch a video, or share a post, you're helping someone else get richer. The question is, when will you start helping yourself? In this era, you have more opportunities than ever to become a creator. You don't need a huge investment. You just need an idea, a skill, and consistency. A young person can start a YouTube channel, write an ebook, sell digital products, or teach a skill online. AI can help you create content design, translate, or even plan a business. Opportunities have never been this abundant. Yet, most people still sit and watch instead of acting. I once told this to one of my students, Anna. She had amazing writing talent, but always said, I don't think anyone would want to read what I write. I told her, write and let the world decide. But don't let fear decide for you. A year later, she self-published her first book, and it opened a career she never dared to dream of. You see, the world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who act. Consumers ask, what should I watch next? Creators ask, what should I make next? And that question alone creates the gap between the rich and the poor. Don't be afraid to start small. Your first video, your first article, your first product might be rough, might be imperfect, but it's the first seed of freedom. Because every time you create, you're building a stream of value. The world will pay you for whether you're awake or asleep. Consumers use time to kill time. Creators use time to build the future. Consumers live by emotion. Creators live by purpose. If you truly want freedom, start creating something, even something small, even if no one knows yet. A lesson you learn today can become a product you teach tomorrow. A skill you have now can become an income source if you know how to share it. The world doesn't need more spectators. It needs problem solvers, value makers, and inspirers. And you can be one of them if you stop just consuming and start creating. Ask yourself, who am I helping become richer? Them or myself? If the answer is them, then today is the day you step onto the stage. Don't just sit in the audience watching others live your dream life. Start writing your own script, even if it's just the first line. Because once you start creating, the world starts listening. Principle number 4. Master time like an investor. When I was younger, I thought rich people were wealthier because they had more opportunities. Later, I learned they just used time differently. Time is the fairest asset life gives us. Everyone gets 24 hours a day. But why do some people use those 24 hours to build freedom, while others use the same 24 hours just to survive? The answer is simple. Consumers kill time. Investors sow time. There was a phase in my life where every day felt the same. I woke up, work, went home, watched TV, and went to bed. I kept telling myself, tomorrow I'll start doing something bigger. But that tomorrow never came until one day I heard my mentor say, "Jim, if you don't know how you're spending your time, someone else is renting it." That sentence hit me like a slap in the face. I realized I had been using time to buy comfort while others were using their time to build freedom. I began to see time the way I saw money. If you spend money, you lose it. If you invest money, it grows. The same is true for time. When you spend an hour learning a new skill, building a system, or practicing discipline, you're investing in your future. But when you spend an hour scrolling aimlessly, arguing pointlessly, or procrastinating, you're destroying your future. Remember, time never comes back. But it always pays interest if invested wisely. The rich don't look for ways to work more. They look for ways to make time work for them. They don't try to do everything. They focus on doing what multiplies results. That's called leverage. They use systems, technology, people, and AI as extensions of their time. A video they film today can generate income for years. An automated sales system can run even while they sleep. A skill they teach others can create endless streams of value. They understand this truth. If you only trade time for money, you'll never afford freedom. Look at your day. How many hours do you spend building your future? And how many hours escaping the present? If you don't control your time, someone else will, and they'll use your time to build their dreams. I once met a young entrepreneur named David. He worked 12 hours a day, but always complained he had no time. I asked, "Why do you work so much?" He replied, "So I can make enough to hire help." I smiled and said, "Then why not start hiring?" Now I taught him how to delegate, automate, and systemize. A year later, David worked only 6 hours a day and earned 3 times more. He told me, "I realized I didn't need more time. I just needed to use it smarter." You see, investors don't ask, "How can I get more hours?" They ask, "How can each hour produce more value?" They know how to turn 1 hour today into 10 hours of value tomorrow. Ask yourself, if time were money, am I investing it or spending it? Remember, an hour spent learning will pay dividends for life. An hour wasted is lost forever. And in the game of life, the winner isn't the busiest person. It's the one who uses time the most effectively. Principle number 5. Think about cash flow, not money spent. Most people feel excited when they have money in hand. On payday, they think about what to buy, what to eat, what to experience. But the rich are different. When money comes in, they don't ask how much can I spend. They ask how much of this will keep flowing in even if I stop working. That is the difference between someone who is financially free and someone who is a slave to money. I once worked with a friend who made a lot of money. Each month he bought new things, changed cars, traveled, posted photos online. He thought he was living the dream life. But just 1 month without income, everything fell apart. I asked him, "Do you have money or are you just holding it for someone else?" He was silent because he knew he only had income, not cash flow. Money you earn doesn't make you rich. Money that flows inconsistently is what makes you free. The poor think about income. The rich think about flow. You can imagine it like this. A consumer builds a pond full in the rainy season, dry in the drought. An investor builds a river flowing forever. Rain or shine. Do you want to live by a pond or by a river? That's your choice. I used to be in the pond phase. I worked hard, made money, but kept none of it. Every time I got income, I spent it right away. Each month, I had to start again from zero. Until I understood income is temporary, cash flow is permanent. The rich create cash flow from assets, not from jobs. They invest in things that keep paying returns even when they rest. A rental apartment, a dividend-paying stock, an online course, an app, or a YouTube channel. All of these are streams of value. You do the work once, but it keeps working for you. I remember when I was young, I asked a mentor teacher, "How can I become financially free?" He said, "It's simple, Jim. Don't just work to make money. Work to build cash flow." That statement completely changed my mindset. I started setting aside 10% of my income to create new income streams. Not big ones, just small amounts, investing in funds and courses and small business ideas. And bit by bit, I saw the difference. While I slept, money was still moving. Today, you have countless ways to create cash flow. From selling digital products, investing online, blogging, teaching skills to using AI to automate work. What matters isn't doing something big, but starting today, even if it's small. Remember, you don't need a big asset to start. You just need a small habit to sustain. Write this down on paper. Where does my current cash flow come from? If I stop working for a month, which streams will still flow? How can I create one new stream within the next 3 months? Because consumers live on effort while investors live on systems. A system that works for you, that is true freedom. Ask yourself, if I stop working tomorrow, what will still bring me money? If the answer is nothing, then today is exactly when you should start building your first river. Start with just a small drop, but if you're persistent, that flow will sustain you for life. Principle number 6. Build systems that run when you're not there. I used to think freedom came from working more. I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and felt proud of my hard work. But then I realized a painful truth. I wasn't working for freedom. I was working to be tied down. You see, if everything in your life only works when you're working, then you're not the boss. You're an employee of yourself. And the worst job in the world is being a lifelong employee of yourself. The rich understand one simple thing. Systems let you duplicate results without doubling effort. They don't just build businesses. They build operating mechanisms. A business that can survive without them being present every day. An income stream that can run automatically. A system that works for them even when they're resting, reading, or spending time with family. When I was young, I ran a small company. I did everything: called clients, wrote contracts, collected payments, even cleaned the office. I thought I was in control of everything. But in reality, everything was controlling me. One day, I got seriously ill and had to take a week off, and the business completely collapsed. Right then, I understood, if a system stops running when you're absent, it's not a system, it's dependence. I started to change. I learned to delegate, automate, and create structure. I wrote processes, trained others, and used technology to operate. And step by step, I built a system that could run without me. When I left the company for a month, revenue didn't drop, it increased. That's when I realized true freedom doesn't come from working more. It comes from working smarter. Today, you have countless tools to do. That AI can help you draft emails, auto-post content plan, your calendar, or handle customer service. Software can process data for you in minutes. Tasks that used to take hours. Technology isn't for doing more work. It's for living more freely. So, instead of asking what else do I need to do, ask what can I do once that will keep producing results forever. If you're finding this lesson valuable, subscribe to the Jim Ran Treasures channel to keep exploring deeper principles with me that help you build true financial freedom. Don't miss out, because principle number 7 will reveal a key that very few people recognize: the secret language of money. Successful people don't just work in systems, they build systems. Failures stay stuck in their own grind. A consumer always asks, "What do I need to do next?" An investor asks, how can this run without me? You can't have a big life if everything in it depends on your effort. And you can't dream of freedom if you have to be present 24/7 for things to run. Starting today, pick one task you repeat every day and ask yourself, can I automate this, simplify it, or hand it off to someone? Every task you free from your own hands is 1 hour of freedom you buy back. Ask yourself, if I disappeared for a week tomorrow, what in my life would keep running? If the answer is nothing, then it's time to start building systems. Because only when your systems work for you do you truly begin to live instead of just work. Principle number 7, learn the language of money. I once had a very talented friend. He could lead teams, give inspiring presentations, and make the kind of money many people dream of. But strangely, he was always short on cash. One day I asked, have you ever wondered why you're good at making money but not keeping it? He laughed. I guess I'm not good at management. I looked at him and said, it's not that you're bad at management. You just don't speak the language of money. And that's the truth. Most people are never taught. They learn grammar, math, technology, but no one teaches them how to talk to money. And when you don't understand the language of money, money will leave you to find someone who understands it better. I used to be like that. I worked hard, but money always flowed away faster than I could earn it. I could read 100 pages of a book every night, but couldn't get through a simple financial statement. I knew how to talk to people, but I didn't know how to converse with my own money. Until one day, a mentor told me, Jim, you're good at labor, but illiterate in financial language. And every kind of illiteracy has a price. I never forgot that sentence. It made me realize financial knowledge isn't optional. It's an obligation. From that day on, I started reading every day, even just one page, about finance, investing, economics. At first, I didn't understand anything. Words like cash flow, leverage, assets, equity, ROI felt unfamiliar. But I kept going. And little by little, I began to hear the voice of money. When you understand money, you'll know how it moves, where it hides, and how it multiplies. You'll know that money isn't a mystery. It simply follows rules like gravity. And if you learn its language, you can control it instead of being controlled by it. Today, Gen Z is living in an era where financial information sits right in their pocket. Investment apps, e-wallets, crypto AI, financial advisors. But the paradox is they interact with money more yet understand it less. They know what investing is but don't understand what value is. They hear assets but spend on experiences. They learn how to make money fast but don't learn how to keep money long. A financially intelligent person isn't the one with the most money but the one who knows exactly what each dollar is doing. They can talk to money like talking to a close friend. Where are you working? Are you earning interest or sleeping? Are you helping me or leaving me? And I realized something interesting. Money is very loyal if you treat it with understanding. But it's also very cold if you ignore it for too long. You don't have to become a financial expert, but you must know the basics. Assets create cash flow. Liabilities take away cash flow. Cash flow is the oxygen of freedom. Leverage helps you multiply time and returns. And most importantly, money is a tool, not a master. I always tell my students, learn from mentors, not marketers. Because a mentor will teach you how to think about money, while a marketer only teaches you how to spend money. And ask yourself, do I truly understand the language of money, or am I just listening to its noise? If you don't know where your money is going, then soon enough it will be gone. But if you learn how to communicate with it, understand how it operates, how it multiplies, how it serves, then money will become the most loyal companion on your journey to freedom. Because in the end, those who understand money will always have money. And those who ignore it will forever chase it. Principle number 8. Control emotions before controlling money. I've seen many people lose everything, not because they invested wrong, but because they let emotions lead the way. I remember clearly that year when the financial market was booming. Everyone talked about opportunities. Everyone thought they were about to become millionaires. A friend of mine, Joe, invested nearly all his savings into a hot stock. He told me, Jim, this opportunity can't lose. I just smiled. Joe, no opportunity is immune to greed. A few months later, the market crashed. He lost nearly all the money he had saved over 10 years. Not because the investment was terrible, but because he couldn't restrain his emotions. The rich understand a simple principle. Discipline makes you rich. Emotions make you poor. Emotions make us act fast, but they also make us regret for a long time. When you're afraid, you sell too early. When you're greedy, you buy too late. When you're euphoric, you believe you're smarter than the market. And when you panic, you forget every principle. I fell into that trap myself. When I started investing, I let fear drive every decision. I sold when prices dropped, then bought back when everyone got excited. The result, I always lost. Until I understood this, the market doesn't punish the ignorant, it punishes the impatient. You can't eliminate emotions, but you can learn to control them. Emotions are like wild horses. If you ride them correctly, they'll get you to the destination faster. But if you let them run free, they'll throw you to the ground. A wise investor always prepares before emotions arrive. They write an investment plan, define risk levels, set limits, then commit to following them. Because they know when the market goes crazy, reason won't stand a chance if it hasn't been trained in advance. Today's world makes losing control easier than ever. You only need to open your phone to get swept up and get rich quick news and stories of overnight success. That's an addiction to emotion. Emotions make you decide based on the crowd, not based on your own goals. If you let social media, the market, or rumors dictate your emotions, don't be surprised when your finances swing like a price chart. I want you to remember this. The rich don't invest with emotions. They invest with principles. Before every financial decision, pause for 24 hours. Don't invest. Don't buy. Don't sell. Just observe and write down your emotions. The next day, read it again. You'll realize that 80% of what you planned to do yesterday was just an emotional reaction. I used to teach my students, it's not the smarter person who wins, but the calmer one. Because you can't build wealth with a panicked heart. Practice treating calmness as a currency. The calmer a person is, the more trustworthy they are. And the more trustworthy they are, the more likely they are to receive money. Ask yourself, am I investing with a strategy or with emotions? If the answer is emotion, stop, take a deep breath, and remember, emotions are the silent thief of wealth. They don't steal your money all at once. They just make you self-destruct little by little. Choose to be the one who controls, not the one being controlled. Because when you can control your emotions, you don't just control your money, you control your life. Principle number 9, let money serve you, don't let it rule you. When I was young, I used to believe that the more money I had, the happier I'd be. And at first, it did make me happy. I bought my first car, my first suit, my first house. But then I realized something frightening. I no longer owned those things, they owned me. I had to work harder to pay for them. I had to stress more to protect them. And worst of all, I began to judge myself by what I owned instead of who I was becoming. One day, while cleaning my closet, I looked at a row of expensive suits I no longer wore. I asked myself, Jim, when did you start working to serve the things you bought instead of letting them serve you? That moment woke me up. I realized that ownership without mastery is just a new form of slavery. Many people believe they're living better, but in reality, they're living to pay for choices that cost them their freedom. They trade time for possessions, then use possessions to fill the emptiness left by lost time. That's the vicious cycle I call the glamour trap. Truly wealthy people don't live to prove anything to others. They live to build real value for themselves. They understand that money is only a tool, a loyal servant if you know how to control it, but a cruel master if you let it control your emotions, decisions, and dreams. I once asked a mentor, "Are you afraid of losing money?" He smiled and said, "No, Jim, because I don't live to keep money. I live to make it work for me." And I understood that freedom doesn't come from how much you have, but from how little you need to live true to your values. If you must trade peace of mind to gain money, that's not success. That's spiritual debt. Consumers try to prove their worth through possessions. Investors increase their worth to attract possessions. One is owned by money. The other commands it. Never forget, money is not the final goal. The goal is freedom, time, and peace. Because if money doesn't give you more of those three things, then it's doing the opposite of its purpose. Think of money as an employee you hire. If that employee doesn't save you time, create opportunities, or bring value, would you keep them? Of course not. So why let lazy dollars sit idle in your account, or worse, rebel by making you spend more, worry more, and sleep less? The wise don't chase money. They make money chase their goals. Every dollar they have is assigned a clear task. A portion for self-development, a portion to create cash flow, a portion to serve others. And that's when money truly becomes a loyal servant, not a cruel master. And ask yourself, am I mastering money or is money mastering me? If you find yourself sacrificing freedom, sleep, or family time just to earn more, then it's time to redefine your relationship with money. Remember, when money serves you, it brings freedom. When you serve money, it brings burden. Don't live to possess, live to direct. Because when you master your money, you master your life. Principle number 10, build many streams, not just one road. When I was young, I thought having one good job was enough. A stable salary, a secure position. I believed that was all I needed until one day my company downsized. Overnight, my security disappeared. And I realized when your life depends on one source of income, you don't have freedom, you have luck. From that moment, I started thinking differently. Consumers work to live. Investors build systems to live on. And I learned that one path may lead you to your destination, but many streams will sustain your future. I call this the river rule. If you only have a puddle, when the sun rises, it dries up. But if you have a river, it flows rain or shine. The rich don't live off ponds, they live off rivers of value. They don't rely on a single income source. They build multiple small but steady streams. One stream from work, one from investments, one from assets, one from knowledge. And when these small streams merge, they become a lifelong river of freedom. I remember meeting a young woman at a seminar. She said, "Teacher, I only have a normal job. How can I create multiple income streams?" I smiled and said, "Start with what you're already good at. If you're good at teaching, teach online. If you're good at writing, write books or share your insights. If you're good at selling, create your own product or do affiliate marketing. If you have a hobby, turn it into value. You don't need a lot of capital. You just need to start with what's in your mind." Financially intelligent people don't ask, "How much do I earn?" They ask, "If I stop working today, what will keep earning for me?" That's the question that separates those who make a living from those who build freedom. You don't need 10 income streams right away. Just 2 or 3 steady ones already put you ahead of 97% of people. And remember, don't try to build 10 bridges at once. Build one strong bridge first, then start the next. The rich don't diversify out of fear. They diversify out of vision. They don't build randomly. They build strategically. Every source of income they create is based on skill systems and value they control. That's intelligent diversification, not scattered anxiety. I once told my students, one road might take you to the goal, but when that road is blocked, your river of value will always find a way. And I believe that in today's world where everything can change with a single announcement, diversification isn't just a financial strategy. It's insurance for your freedom. Ask yourself, if my main source of income stopped today, would I have another stream to sustain me? If the answer is no, don't worry. Just start. A small stream today, if nurtured consistently, will become a river tomorrow. And when you have many rivers, you'll no longer live in fear of losing your job because you've already begun building freedom with your own mind and value. Principle number 11, think about legacy, not lifestyle. I've met many successful people. They had houses, cars, status, and fame. But when I asked them, "How do you want to be remembered?" most of them went silent. And that moment of silence said it all. They had built a lifestyle, but not a legacy. Years ago, I lived like them. I chased comfort, luxury, and the admiration of others. I thought success was being known until I met a teacher, a man who wasn't rich or famous, but whose every word changed people's lives. I asked him, "Why don't you try to make more money?" He smiled and said, "Jim, I don't need to be remembered for what I have. I want to be remembered for what I've planted." From that moment, I understood something profound. Lifestyle exists only while you're alive. Legacy lives on long after you're gone. Lifestyle is what you spend. Legacy is what you leave. Lifestyle speaks of comfort. Legacy speaks of impact. I once met a very wealthy man, but when he passed away, his fortune was scattered. His family fought, and no one mentioned his name again. Then there was another man, a poor village teacher who had nothing but his books and his students. And decades later, people still spoke of him with gratitude, who was truly richer. The first man had money. The second had meaning. Financially wise people don't just ask, "How can I earn more?" They also ask, "How can my value continue after I'm gone?" I once told my students, success is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you pass on. If your success ends with you, it will die with you. But if you use that success to plant seeds for others, it becomes a living legacy. Today, many young people are obsessed with the image of a millionaire lifestyle, luxurious travel designer brands, glamorous social media posts. But what they don't see is that truly wealthy people are quietly building legacies, not aesthetics. They invest in people and knowledge, in communities and values that outlast time. They know that real wealth doesn't live in a bank account. It lives in your influence. I remember a young student once asked me, "Sir, how can I become as rich as you?" I smiled and said, "Don't try to be as rich as me. Try to be more useful than me. Because wealth can fade, but the value you plant will never disappear. Ask yourself, if I left this world tomorrow, what would remain? A house, a car, or a person made better because I once helped them?" If you don't yet have an answer, start planting today with one small act, one lesson, one value you believe in. Because everything you do today becomes the imprint you leave tomorrow. Remember, lifestyle is temporary. Legacy is eternal. Money may vanish, but the values you plant will grow through generations. And when you live to create a legacy, money becomes merely a tool, never the goal. Principle number 12. True wealth is who you become. I once asked my first mentor, "Sir, how can I become wealthy?" He looked at me and said, slowly, "Jim, stop asking, how much can I get? Start asking, who must I become to deserve it?" That sentence changed my life forever. Because true wealth isn't what you have, it's who you become in the process of earning it. You can lose money, but if you become someone who creates value, you can always rebuild. You can lose a job, but if you become disciplined, confident, and visionary, you'll create even greater opportunities. The only things that can't be taken away are the character, knowledge, and resilience you've built over time. I've lost everything before: money, work, reputation. But I didn't lose myself. I stood up, learned again, started again. And only then did I realize losing possessions is a lesson. Losing yourself is defeat. There are many rich people in this world, but not all of them are happy because they are rich in their wallets, but poor in their souls. They trade health, family, and time to buy the feeling of being better than others. But in the end, all they have left is exhaustion and loneliness. On the other hand, I've met people with few possessions, but with light in their eyes, peace in their hearts, and faith in their actions. They understand that true success isn't in the destination, it's in the becoming. True wealth is when you look in the mirror each morning and see someone you respect, someone who lives by their values and doesn't need to compare with anyone else. Consumers ask, "What will I get?" Investors ask, "Who will I become?" And the second question is the foundation of lasting freedom. If you want to have more, first become someone capable of managing more. If you want to attract opportunities, first, become someone worthy of them. Success is never an accident. It's the natural result of who you're becoming each day. I want you to understand this. You can't buy true wealth. You must become worthy of it. Just like you can't buy a healthy body, you must train for it. You can't buy confidence. You must act to earn it. You can't buy wisdom. You must learn and experience it. Ask yourself, am I chasing wealth or becoming the kind of person worthy of it? If you choose the second path, every financial success, relationship, and freedom will naturally come to you. Because money is only the reward for the person you've become, not for the things you own. Remember, success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Be rich, but not just in your wallet. Be rich in your wisdom, in your discipline, in your character. Because in the end, wealth isn't having more than others. It's having enough to live true to your values. If you found today's lessons valuable, please like, subscribe, and share this video to help spread Jim Rant's life philosophy to more people. And leave a comment. What principle from today's 12 has changed the way you see money and life? See you in the next video of Jim Rant Treasures, where we don't just learn how to make money, we learn how to become the kind of person worthy of freedom.